Welcome back, everyone, and we're here with Zeno, who talked to us about modern emails with React. So, Zeno, I think that the number one thing that I'm really curious about from your talk is your whole journey from taking this side project and turning it into a company. You mentioned you just got some funding, right? And it looks like for a lot of people it's something that's totally unattainable. And I really like the part you just told people, hey, you can just go and do this. Go for it. So I'd love to hear more about that and your whole journey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm super happy to be here. Hey, everyone. I feel like there's something really special about building side projects.
Yeah.
Sometimes we look at them and we feel like, oh, maybe this is just a toy. Maybe this is not going to go anywhere. But I've been building open source projects my whole life.
Yeah.
And this project really changed my whole life now, basically, because like from this little React library, a company emerged. And then from this company, it wasn't just me and my co-founder. Now there's a team of like 30 people on it. You would never imagine that like a little React library will turn into that. But I feel like that's the power of the web. That's the power of coding.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to show there.
Yeah, amazing. And how was this something you just wanted to work on, or did you do it with the intention of potentially turning it into a product?
Yeah, like I definitely wasn't planning on like changing the world or something. But it felt like there was this place in the JavaScript ecosystem, or even broader, like in the whole software ecosystem, where you have these like established companies, and email is not something that is particularly new, right? Like this is not AI that everyone's like super hyped about.
Yeah.
But it felt like no one really cared. Mm-hmm. And that's when I felt the opportunity. Like, what if you come in with a different take? And what if you show that you care?
Yeah.
So when you go to our website, there's this rotating Rubik's Cube made with WebGL.
Oh.
Like there's no point in having that on your landing page.
Yeah.
But we decided to put it there to show that we care. Like we can write a whole mission page about like, hey, here's why we think quality is important, or we can actually demonstrate.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do a lot of times. Like, let's demonstrate quality, attention to detail, and if we show that we care, people will give their attention in return. So
yeah, I think that's a pretty good tip to anyone that's kind of looking for something like this. Just find a niche if someone that seems kind of abandoned, and then you'll have a lot more opportunity to grow that into something. And speaking of tips, do you have any tips for anyone who wants to go through a similar journey as yours?
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about when you have an idea like, oh, go for a niche, right? I feel like that's great advice. Like find an underserved niche, focus on that. There's also a lot to be said about going after a big industry.
Right.
People sometimes feel like if there are a lot of competitors, this is actually a bad thing, and you have to be original. That was my first idea. Yeah. I created this app using Expo. Oh. It was a cheese app. And I thought I was going to change the world because no one ever created a cheese app before.
Right.
So I was like super excited about it. Turns out, if no one really created anything related to that,
maybe there's
probably
a reason.
not a good idea too.
Yeah.
So just looking at like what's available, and even if it has tons of competitors, and that was the case for us, super established, like SendGrid, Mailgun, Postmark, all these guys exist forever.
Of course.
And we somehow found our way into this super crowded market. I feel like, that's a recipe that I would take for me, even if everything went under now. I would start a new idea in a super crowded market that people are not giving attention to.
Okay, that was, this whole thing is super inspiring, and I'm going to go work on my side project now. Don't tell my boss. Last two questions for you I ask everyone, and let's keep it brief. What is your favorite React API or feature of all times?
I actually love hooks, but I'm looking forward to React Markup, which is this experimental package. It's merged, but it's not live yet.
Okay. And what is one thing about it that doesn't come up in normal conversation?
So once I was traveling and I went to Spain and I started to feel sick. I went to a hospital.
Okay.
And I stayed there for 3 weeks. But in that hospital, I created this little library called Dracula,
Okay.
which is a theme for developers.
Yeah.
There are 9.5 million users using this Dracula theme. No one really knows that I created that, but it's something that I'm really
You
proud of.
created it in a hospital? Wow, we're learning a lot of new things here today. I am shocked. I'm going to have to talk to you about that later. Also about cheeses.
Yes.
And thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you again, folks at home, for sending us all these questions. And I think that is it for us today, folks. Thank you so much for joining the live stream and being with us today throughout the day. We're keeping up the live stream tomorrow, day 2 of ReactCon, starting 9:30 a.m. Join us. We're going to have the same wonderful live stream interviews we had today. And I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to asking all your questions tomorrow. Thanks again, and I'll see you later. Bye, folks.